Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am back with Jacob. He's over there. But we were back at 19 Performance Gym in Argyle. We're doing another heavy leg day. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up so we can keep them going. We'll keep rolling out more videos. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we're starting with bands like I always do for leg day. Here we're just doing side to side steps with 2 bands, one above the knee, one above the ankles with my toes pointed outward. And you're gonna go down and back facing the same direction so that both sides are getting warm. The next movement is just a step forward and a squat, alternating feet. Still with both bands on, you're gonna go forward, and then once you hit the cone, you're gonna do the same thing, but stepping backward. Try to keep your toes pointed outward. I suck at this because I'm pigeon-toed, but do your best. It really helps target the outer glute. Next, if you saw this one in my last video, it looks a little weird, but you're just gonna take baby steps forward on the same side. And then once you hit the cone, you're gonna do the same thing, but backward. It looks a little awkward, but it's hard. Trust me, it's a lot harder than it looks. And then after the band work, we're gonna get right into the exercises. First, we're starting with just your normal squats. And here I'm just doing a warm-up set with the bar and no weight, just to make sure I'm completely warm and I can avoid any type of injury. I believe we did 4 sets after that warm-up. And with each set, you're gonna increase the weight and lower the reps. I used to really hate squats because I have a bad back and scoliosis, and I think I was lifting a lot more initially than I should have. So I used to avoid squats at all costs. Even when I was competing, I would squat with my trainer, but if I worked out on my own, I would never squat because it would hurt. And I just found ways around squatting to grow my glutes for the stage. But now one of my goals is to get my strength back when it comes to squatting. So what I did was when I started squatting, I started off very light and very slow. So I didn't increase weight for a very long time until I found a positioning of my feet and until my body was able to do the movement with 0 pain in my back. So for me personally, I do a little bit of a wider stance with my toes pointed outward. With that, I'm really able to feel the squat through my glutes and my legs and not in my back whatsoever. And I honestly think that has a lot to do with my height. I think a normal squat stance for my height, being as tall as I am with kind of longer legs, it doesn't work well for me. So just find what works for you before you start to throw on the heavy weights, because if you're doing incorrect form or you're feeling it in places other than your legs and glutes, you're probably going to injure yourself, and we definitely don't want that. I almost died, you guys. But the next exercise is going to be deadlifts. With deadlifts, you really want to sit back. So the first movement that should happen when you start the exercise is your hips should move backward. Don't just hinge at the waist and not move your hips. Your hips should immediately move backward so that you can feel that stretch in your glutes and in your hamstrings, and then use your glutes to bring you back up, if that makes sense. Don't just use your back. You shouldn't be using your back at all. But it took me a while to understand that movement and to feel it, of me using my glutes to bring my hips back forward and to bring me back up, if that makes sense. Next is my all-time favorite for leg day, hip thrusts. As you guys know, I try to incorporate hip thrusts in every single lower body workout. I'm no doctor or certified personal trainer, but through my own research, I have found that hip thrusts are the most effective glute growing isolation movement that exists. So if you are not doing these in your lower body workouts, if you're trying to grow your glutes, you are missing out 100%. You need to be doing these. Here, I believe we did 5 sets, increasing the weight each set and lowering the reps as we increase the weight. I like to do a little bit of a wider stance and try to keep my toes pointed out as much as I can. Again, I'm pigeon-toed, so that's really hard for me, but I really try because I feel like it actually helps my glutes, and I feel it even more in my glutes if I point my toes out slightly and push through the heels. Another thing you want to focus on, because I see people do this wrong all the time, and I used to do it wrong all the time, is to not look up at the ceiling, but keep your neck tucked the entire time if you can, especially when you're doing the upward movement. You need to keep your neck tucked. Next, we're doing kneeling half squats with a band, a resistance band, to make that movement up a little bit harder. And then we went ahead and added weight, and we did 4 sets of 12 to 15. You just want to sit back and then really squeeze your glutes at the top.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow that stuff.
The next exercise is donkey kicks. I used to also struggle with donkey kicks because I feel like a lot of people just swing their leg back and forth and they're not focused on squeezing or finding the placement of their leg where they actually feel it. Because again, everybody's bodies are different. Everyone's hip flexibility is different. Everyone's just gonna feel things differently. So for me, I had to find the sweet spot of where to donkey kick.
Shoulders on ice for y'all. Frozen.
Next, we're doing walking lunges, but we made it a little bit more difficult, or he made it a little bit more difficult for me. So what you're gonna do is when you go down, I don't think we filmed this in a good way for you to see it, but I'm just gonna explain it so hopefully it makes sense. You're just gonna go down with the weights, doing single lunges, then you're gonna drop the weights, and on the way back, you're gonna do double lunges without the weight. When you go back down again, you won't have the weight, so you're gonna do single lunges, but then when you get back down to that other end, the weights are there, so you're gonna pick them up, and when you go back, you're gonna do double lunges with the weights. So basically, the pattern is gonna stay the same, but when you have the weights, it's gonna change. So you're always gonna do single lunges going down, double going back, but when you have the weights, whether that's on the single or double, is gonna change because you're only gonna carry the weights back one way and then drop them. I really hope that makes sense. Just try it and you'll see what I mean. But yes, we went down and back for, was it 3 times? I believe we went down and back just 3 times.
For the record.
We're almost done, just 2 more exercises, but here I'm just doing some TRX squats with a band as well. You're gonna do 3 pulses and then come up and squeeze. And we did 15 reps for 3 sets. And this is one of those that's like, oh, how hard could it be? Honey, I was dying for some reason. There's no weight involved, but it was very difficult. Once you have squatted and hip thrusted and done kickbacks and lunges, like this is a lot harder than you might think it will be. So just push through it and do your best.
For success, if I ain't next, and I just leave impression. Next to rain on the window pane, puffin' plain Jane. Let them second guess me, wanna cop the Porsche with the porcelain skin. Grip the wheels, let the horses just spits. Why they trash at the chore on my list? Added a sword, but I saw with the pen. I'm eating good, Miss Caloric is lit. I sipped the potion and poured it in. I on the type, watch me pour it in. Opportunity knock at the door, they like
And last but not least, this death of a hexagon squat finisher that Jacob just loves for me and his other clients to do. It's freaking awful. So you're basically gonna stand in 2 of the circles. On one side, you're gonna go back squat, regular squat, front squat, and then switch to the other leg and do back, side, forward. Doing both sides in that pattern is 1. So you're going to do that whole thing 5 times, and that's 1 set. And then you're gonna do that whole set 4 times. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed or found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, so I would truly appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me and Jacob on Instagram, and yeah, we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Kinda new with apologies. Holding back, I got history.